Education 1030 students. It is Valentine's Day when you're watching this, so happy Valentine's Day. So we are going to be diving into Chapter 4, which is discovering how you learn, something that you've been doing all your life. So Chapter 4 is really going to introduce you to some learning theories, specifically Maslow, Bandura, Schlossberg, and also it's going to introduce you to something called the VARK Learning Styles Inventory. And this is really going to help you understand all of these things together, are going to help you understand what is your preferred learning method, right? What's your preferred learning styles? And the reason that we go over the different learning theories and take the VARK and look at MBTI and intelligence test is because there's no one test or assessment or looking at one specific theory is going to help you discover how you learn. We need to combine all of those together. You're going to be reading Chapter 4 in your textbook called Discovering How You Learn. In a little bit, I'm going to kind of let you look at all the resources, but also I'll kind of note some pages in the chapter that you need to be paying attention to. So as always, I give you plenty of learning resources. You're going to go to Unit 1 and click on Chapter 4. And under that is the summary. And you see here that you're going to read Chapter 4 in your textbook. You have the reading organizer and the PowerPoint slides. Now the PowerPoint slides should not substitute the book. I have mentioned this a few times. It is important, if you do not have the book, please contact me because you need to have the book to be successful. Another thing that I keep having students email me is the reading organizers, or they're turning it in with their chapter assignments. Please do not submit the reading organizers. There's not a place for it. I will ask you for it next week during our first unit exam. Each unit, when we have an exam that week, I will email everyone and ask you to email them to me. And it just makes it easier that way, and you can earn extra bonus points. So if you haven't been working on the reading organizers, they really are a great study tool for you. So please take advantage of that. You also are going to be completing what we call the VARK online assessment, and I'll show you that in just a moment. It's really going to help you complete what we call a learning styles and teaching styles worksheet. And this worksheet, combined with reading the chapter and going through the resources and watching the video, is going to give you a better understanding of what type of learner you are. It's important for you in college and in life for you to know how do you learn best so you can communicate and make some adaptations so you can be successful. So this chapter is really going to give you strategies on how to do that. So the first thing I mentioned was obviously reading Chapter 4, but seeing here that you have the slides, the slides really are helpful because it's just going to highlight the most important things you should be focusing on. So please read the slides. Also, this is the reading organizer. Remember, reading organizers are a tool to help you study. It's basically an outline, and that's what I was mentioning that I was sent an email asking for. If you haven't been working on them, you can go back and do Chapter 1, Chapter 12, and Chapter 3 if you want to earn those bonus points for the exam. The other thing that you're going to see here, besides the PowerPoint and the reading organizer, is really going to be our learning styles, right? Because we have these videos here to help meet our course outcomes. So when you click on the course outcomes, you're going to see that it shows you what 2 of our course outcomes are, as well as what are we learning in the module, and what are some activities that we're going to do to help us meet our objectives, right? So we want to be able to look at lots of different learning theories, and that's what we're going to be diving into in Chapter 4. We're also going to be able to summarize the VARK inventory, which you will be completing for your homework assignment, which is how I'm going to be assessing you this week. You're also going to be looking at the Myers-Briggs type indicator and how that's going to help you. Multiple intelligence inventory, what that is. All of this you're going to explain, and this is going to give you knowledge for success, not only professionally, academics, but also personally. And you're going to be able to identify your preferred learning styles, right? And you're going to be able to implement these learning strategies to relate to your course content and even beyond. And then lastly, compare and contrast teaching strategies, right? So once you find out what your preferred learning style is, you also are going to see if how the teacher is teaching is going to match up with your preferred learning style. If not, we need to find ways to overcome that, right? How it's going to differ from your learning style and what you need to do so you can make sure you're understanding the course content and getting the material. So these are going to be your main objectives, and they are relating to our course objectives. Now, I did mention that you have 3 videos here. The videos are strategies when we're trying to connect deeper, right? So what I mean by that is if I give you this as a learning resource, I encourage you, right? It's not really suggestive. I want you to watch them because it's going to help you dive deeper into the content. So you have 3 videos here. The first one is all about learning styles and multiple intelligence. Okay, so it breaks it down, the different ones, kinesthetic, visual, what are they? You may have heard about this when you were in school. This just gives you an overview of what they are in a visual imagery, if you will. So if you're a visual learner, this is a very helpful video. The second video is understanding and knowing about your learning style. So what's the importance of it? The knowing your learning style, why is it important for you to know it? And then lastly, this is a TED Talk. I love TED Talks. They're so informative, and usually the speakers really connect well with the audience, which would be you. This one is What's Your Type by Jean Kumaro, and I really find this an engaging and really great TED Talk. So those are 3 organizers. Not organizers. These are 3 videos that are going to help you. Now, getting to the assessment component, how are you going to be graded this week? Well, you see here underneath chapter assignments, I was mentioning to you earlier that one of the objectives is for you to understand what a VARK assessment is. VARK, what does that stand for? It stands for visual, oral, read, write, kinesthetic. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this link. And it's going to there are some questions or statements here. You're going to read the question or statement and then answer which one best explains your preference and click the box next to it. Now, you can click more than one if a single answer really is not matching your perception. If you leave any question blank, it's not going to apply, and that's not helpful to give you the best possible results, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to take it, and there's not many, so this isn't going to take you very long. You're going to select to get results, and what's going to happen is it's going to give you where do you fall. Are you mostly visual, oral, which is basically hearing? Are you read, write, or are you kinesthetic, which is hands-on? Now, keep in mind that some are not going to be 100% visual maybe, or 100% kinesthetic. You may be multimodal, which means that you may be a mixture of some, right, where you fall in both categories, and that's okay. You're trying to understand how you learn. So once you're finished watching the video, when you clicked on the link, you're going to see underneath it that says VARK Teaching Styles, Learning Styles Worksheet. This is actually the document homework assignment you will be submitting. So when you click on it, it's going to look like this. You will download it. I pulled it up so you can see it a little bit closer. What I want you to do is fill out this table, and how you're going to do it is you're going to use your results from the VARK inventory that you just took. You're going to try to figure out your instructor's teaching style in class. Now keep in mind, it doesn't matter if it's an online class or if it's an in-person class. So what you're going to do is list your classes for this semester, this spring semester here. So you're just going to list them down this column. Then, in this column, I want you to tell me that specific instructor's teaching style. So let's say you have a math class, okay? What is their teaching style? Well, obviously math is more hands-on. What are they doing? So it'd be kinesthetic, right? Maybe you do a lot of problems and work problems out. Then this column, the third column, you're going to write, what is your learning style? Remember, these results came from that BARC inventory that you took. So if you're read-write, you're going to put read-write. If you're kinesthetic, you're going to put kinesthetic. It will not change. So whatever your results are will remain the same, and you will put it all the way down this column. So if you're visual, only put visual, right? Remember, if you're 2, you would put 2, but you're going to put it all the way down here. If you are a mixture of all of them, then you would be what we call multimodal, and you would just put that. Now, here's the important thing, okay? This is the bulk of what we're trying to get out of the assignment. Once you tell me what class it is, so let's say the example here I gave you, your psychology class. Your teacher is mostly, their teaching style is visual and auditory because they give a lot of PowerPoint and lectures. You are read-write based on your BARC inventory you took. These two do not match up. If you read and write, right, that's what type of learner you are, and they're mostly giving you visual and auditory, like they lecture and give you images, that's not going to match up with your preferred learning style. So then the important part is we've got to pick out a strategy. Strategy to adapt means that you have to take responsibility for your learning. If your teacher, your instructor is not teaching to your preferred style, then you're going to have to make some changes on your part. So what are you going to have to do? Well, where do we look in our textbook to help us for strategies to adapt? So in your textbook, there's actually a page or section that talks about this, okay? So if you go to page 87 in your textbook, there is a table, 4.1, that talks about study strategies based on your BARC preference. I want you to use page 87 to help you figure out some strategies that you can adapt if it doesn't match up. Okay, so if you hit no, or you select no, and write that here, then you need to tell me strategy. Now, if you're, say that you're kinesthetic learner and you're taking math and you do hands-on activities, your learning style would match up, right? So there would be no need for you to really adapt a new strategy. You're only filling out the section if your teacher's teaching style does not match up with your learning style. Okay, so that's how you will complete it. And remember, however many classes you're taking is however many columns you will fill out, right? So if you're only taking 3 classes, you would do 3s. If you're only taking 2 classes, you would only fill out 2. But you need to fill out the sections for each course you have this semester. When you're done and you completed it, I want you to save it, and then you will submit it to this Dropbox. Okay, and remember, everything is always going to be due Thursday. Okay, so right now it's Valentine's Day. You're watching this. The content is open. Next Thursday on February 20th is when it will be due. You will also be taking your Chapter 4 quiz, which is also going to be able to close on February 20th. But please remember, you have multiple times and attempts at these quizzes, so take advantage of that. You want to get the best grade, and it's going to give you multiple, right? Not only multiple tries, but you're going to see the content more and more the more times that you take it. So it's helpful, almost like a study tool, if you will. Now, one thing I did want to kind of go over for the last few minutes is going to be specifically what's in your book, and then I want to mention the exploring the field before I close out this video. So in Chapter 4, I said there's some things I want you to pay attention to, okay? So if you look on page 88, it's going to start in section 4.3. It's going to start talking about the MBTI, which stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. And this is really known as kind of like a personality inventory, if you will. I really want you to dive into this section because I feel like BARC, while it's nice, it's not going to give you an overall picture of what kind of learner you are. As I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you have to know all of these things. You have to know about the learning theories. You have to know about BARC, Myers-Briggs type. you have to know about all of these because this is really going to hone in on your learning style, your preferred learning method, if you will. So I want you to pay close attention to that. Look at table 4.2. It's really giving you a snippet of the section, and also look at table 4.3 because it's really going to give you some great study strategies based on what type you are, right? Also on 4.4, which starts on 91, I want you to look at that in your textbook because it talks about multiple intelligences, which is important. And you will also be taking inside your book, you can take the multiple intelligence inventory to see where you fall. And then you can get your results on page 93. Okay. Now, keep in mind, at the end of each chapter you read, there's always a section that says think, write, apply. You do not submit that, but I always say as a great study tool before you were to take the quiz, I would suggest doing these because it really gives you understanding and gives you feedback. So where's the disconnect? What do you understand? What you don't? That way you can go back and look at the chapter again. So I always encourage you to use that as a study tool as well as the reading organizers. Now, I've had some questions about exploring the field. I've actually met with a few students, so I wanted to take a few minutes to talk about that before we jump off here. So remember, exploring the field is a large portion project you're going to be doing. And what I mean by that, there's different parts you're responsible for. In chapter 12, we started out exploring the field. We went over career exploration. You took the Focus 2 career assessment. You looked at the results it gave you, and you were able to pick 3 careers that interest you. You also had to, I'm going to scroll kind of to the bottom, you also are going to be responsible for what we call a presentation, right? So you're going to present to us about the career that you chose, okay? So you were supposed to turn in the Exploring the Field topic form. And what that was just telling me what career you're going to research and you're going to present to us, okay? So this form here is what should have been submitted to Dropbox. Now, what you had to put here was you're going to put the career that interests you most. A lot of students put what they're majoring in, which is fine. And the second line, my career topic for my presentation will be on. So let's say your career interest and your major right now is nursing, but you're going to explore, say, business management, right? So you would put that. The last section was only if you needed help and you were unsure of your career or you're a general studies major. Okay, that was the only reason why you would need to fill the bottom section out. Now, keep in mind that this can be changed. So if you need to submit a new one and you change your career halfway through the semester, your career topic choice, that's okay. You just email me and I'll open it up and you can go ahead and submit a new one. But with this presentation topic, this is just giving me an overview before we dive in and start working on research and outline and those sorts of things, which I will be sending a separate video out about that and walking you through it and showing you some examples which I think might be helpful. The main thing we are focusing on right now is picking what your topic is, right? And making sure that you completed the assessments on exploring the field from the Focus 2 career. Now, what I do want to mention is that you are also responsible for what we call videos. So remember, everything for Exploring the Field is going to be in the Exploring the Field module under Unit 3. You need to start working on what we call video reflections. Okay, so once you click on Exploring the Field, it's going to give you a snippet of what this is about, but it will tell you here that in addition to your presentation that you'll be working on this semester, you are also responsible for doing 3 video reflections, okay? We are going to do 1 for each unit. So since we're working in Unit 1, it's time for you to start working on that, okay? So what the video reflections do is it helps you identify and investigate careers that maybe you are interested in or that might be a little different from your major that you want to explore, right? So once you've completed the Focus to Career, now you can do some more exploration through the video library that we have here for you. Okay, so these videos are for you to learn about different careers that you may not have heard of, right? Remember, some of you may not be 100% sure, right? You might be thinking about two different careers, or maybe you're a general ed student, gen ed student, or a general studies student. It never really hurts for you to expand your knowledge and to make sure. So what we have here is a list of different video divisions, right? So each division has different videos talking about their specific career. And your assignment is to choose one of those videos, okay? And remember, you're only doing one right now for Unit 1, and Unit 2 you'll do another one, and in Unit 3 you'll do the last one, okay? After you watch the video, you will be responsible for a reflection. Okay, so I'm going to say, let's say that we are a nursing major, but we want to explore humanities. So we're going to click on humanities, and you're going to see here, we went ahead and separated them into the different fields. So a field in communications, we have a English degree for law, literature and rhetoric. So let's say kind of the law kind of is something you want to watch. So you would click on the video about English degree for law, Dylan Parker. Now, once you click on it, it may take a minute to load, so please be patient, okay? Sometimes it might say not able to load, and then it will load, so just don't keep clicking, it will come up. And you're going to see here, and it has a transcript for you, which is amazing, especially if you read right, but go ahead and watch the video or listen to it, and then when you're done with that, you'll see underneath the video, you're going to have what we call the reflection. So when you click on it, it's going to show you question prompts that are related specifically to this degree, this video. And remember, sometimes it takes it a minute to load, so please be patient. If you waited a minute or a few seconds and it hasn't loaded, sometimes if you hit the refresh button, it will eventually pull it up. So just kind of be patient with it. Now, again, like all the assignments in the course, you do need to download it before you start typing in the document. So you'll see here, some of the questions are longer than others. This is fairly short. But one of the things I do want you to always put in your document when you're answering is what made you choose this. So what made you eventually just click on it, right? And you will answer that. So once you're finished answering the questions for the reflection, I do want you to save it, and then that will be submitted. So let me show you where you're exploring the field sections will go. So if you hit assessments and go to Dropbox, okay, you're going to have to scroll all the way down past Unit 3. You're going to see a section called Exploring the Field Dropboxes. This is where all the Exploring the Field assignments will go. Okay, so you'll see you already passed due for the topic. So if you haven't submitted your presentation topic, I have sent you an email. Please get back with me. Be sure to look and see. If you're not sure, you can reach out. Also, you will see here where it says Exploring the Field Presentation Outline. I will send a separate video talking about that, but you'll see it's not due till March 14th. What I want you to concentrate on right now is the video reflection, okay? And when you submit it, you're going to put it under Exploring the Field Reflection 1 Dropbox, and that will be due on February 27th. So it's not too far from now, so that's why I'm giving you a heads up to start working on that now. And you'll see there's a Dropbox for each video reflection. And then at the very bottom is going to be your presentation. Now, since this is not an on-ground class and you will not be able to be in person to present to us, you will have to be recording yourself with your PowerPoint or your visual. And I'll do a separate video talking about that, but that's where that will go. All right, well, that's pretty much covering all of Chapter 4. That's also going over what you should be doing for your video reflection for Exploring the Field. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to meet with you as well. So just keep working on Exploring the Field, and then make sure that you're reading the textbook chapters as well. All right, guys, until next time, take care. Have a great Valentine's Day.